St. Matthew Passion is one of the biggest prayers written in art history. It is a prayer and a contemplation. And luckily enough, it is also a great piece of art and music. We have blockbuster sections in St. Matthew, like from Hollywood. IMAX 3D Dolby 5.1 multi-experience out of the story of these mass scenes. It's a panopticon of the whole mankind. You have bold people, shy people, people who can be manipulated quite well, people who know how to manipulate very effectively. Jesus, Peter, other disciples, Romans, Pontius Pilate, Ancilla, all the others.
And your role as an evangelist is most important because you are taking us through the entire story. So in the Matthew Passion, so you have the narration presented by the evangelist.
I'm the showmaster, I'm the storyteller, I'm the vicar of St. Matthew Passion. So this is next to all the beautiful orchestra effects and those huge choruses and many other poems set to a choral, which are very familiar even to 25 audience.
I mean, these chorales are written usually to be sung by the congregation.
Yeah.
For this performance, the audience will be invited to join in to sing several chorales with us and with the orchestra of the choir in English and in Mandarin. So we're really looking forward to that. So you're not only observers, you're not only observing the story as it unfolds, but you are also in the story reflecting together with us.
And that's the idea of writing a passion music. You know, what Bach does in 1724 with John, and in 1727 with Matthäus' first and second version, was already an old thing. It started in the medieval times.
This music was originally not written for concert performances. It was written for the community at the time. Just regular people, they could be farmers or family people, children, maybe even some animals in the church, listening to this work. But now in 2025, we know that throughout the world, the St. Matthew Passion has been performed in major concert halls by major orchestras, major choirs. For example, if we have someone in Malaysia who is not a Christian, who have not listened to classical music their entire life, what should they be listening for, and what do you think they should take away from this concert?
He or she who attends this concert in Kuala Lumpur at first, grant yourself to have time and be patient with yourself, be patient with your emotion. Like starting a new job, starting a new experience, like in a relationship, like in a new place where you live. We tend to be very impatient with, okay, it's a story, it's a concert, I have this in the movies and I have this on CD and on Spotify, it can't be something new. If you didn't have any experience with classical music, then St. Matthew Passion is like having your first walk on Manga Parbat and not on a molehill in a nice, neat countryside. It is a challenging piece. And in the way as it is challenging, it is nourishing you with this time you give it, and be prepared. Your emotion and even events and experiences from a long time ago are likely to come up.
The story itself is so dramatic.
Yeah, it's one of the best stories of mankind, even for people who are not connected to the Bible or to believe at all.
The most story ever told in human history.
Yeah, brutal and challenging story about having one man driven to his execution as a historic fact, but also as the biggest gift of God to man, to have a remedy, to have a solution, to get us out of our remoteness back to his light. And this is what Bach drove, I guess. This drove him most.
You have performed works by, beyond Bach. You have performed Handel, you have performed Zelenka, you have performed Schubert, Schumann, and
Franz Schmidt. I did a very big oratorio by him in the last days.
But what is so special about Bach, and why Bach?
The ground book of the German language, which could be Luther's Bible. And I think the ground book of music, of classical music, knowing that there was many more music before Bach, is his thesaurus, is what he wrote for keyboard, for orchestra, and for voices. A few of us musicians never forgot Bach, and the Well-Tempered Clavier was given a handwritten copy from the 70s, 30s and 40s over Mozart and Beethoven and Schubert to our days. And so it's the line, it's the heartbeat of music since 1700, when Bach, as an early teenager, started to write music. Because we still perform even his earliest pieces.
I was going to say, the heartbeat is still beating very strongly today in 2025. I mean, to me personally, I think the Baroque period is probably the pinnacle of the entire Western music history. And why do I say so? I mean, look at Bach. He was able to combine all the styles from before his time, 1,000 years, from the chant to the Renaissance polyphony, and to the most contemporary styles of his time.
From Italy, France.
Right.
He was
on German
European
style.
Union of Music.
Right. Operatic styles and church styles all together. And he was able to combine all this and come up with his own style. But then you look at all the composers after him: Mozart, Haydn, Mendelssohn, Schubert, Schumann, Mahler, even maybe some rock music that we are hearing today, and jazz music. They all look back to Bach. So Bach is kind of like this.
He is really the godfather
Yeah.
of many of them.
What is your impression of the Malaysia Bach Festival Singers and Orchestra?
Not even have I heard about them. I heard them live in St. Thomas Church in June 2024. Stunning performance, cantata and motet performance in Bach's very own church. And I was impressed by the power, by the accuracy, by the joy of presenting in a very foreign language, not only German, but old language German, old German from Baroque times, and also in terms of instruments. What a level!
So we look forward to having you with us on July 26th and July 27th at the Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Chinese Assembly Hall. Daniel Johannsen singing the role of Evangelist alongside many esteemed soloists and the Malaysia Bach Festival Singers and Orchestra, bringing this work, almost 300 years old, live in Malaysia. So thank you very much, Daniel, for joining us today in this conversation.
The joy was all mine.
We look forward to having you in Malaysia. Maybe we can have you try some durian. Have you had some durian before? Do you know what's durian?
I tasted it, but I have to get back to this.
We'll make you try some. See you soon.
See you in Malaysia.